Tonight, the Knicks are in Detroit. It's a possible preview of the first round of the playoffs. 3 Knicks rotation players are out. That means Precious Achiuwa is going to start. Mikal Bridges figures to get a lot of minutes, and Karl-Anthony Towns has been playing really well of late. Standings in the Eastern Conference. If the Knicks win tonight or the Pacers lose tonight, the Knicks clinch third. If the Knicks win and Milwaukee wins tonight, that clinches 6 for the Pistons and would lock in a first-round matchup between the Knicks and the Pistons. Knicks tonight. You got no Mitchell Robinson, no Josh Hart, no OG Anunoby. First of a back-to-back, the Knicks will host Cleveland tomorrow night. This could, as we've talked about, be a possible playoff matchup in the first round. So are we to come away with any conclusions from what we see tonight?
No, but you want to compete at a high level. Josh Hart always talks about it as a competitor and as a player, whoever's healthy playing in this game, you want to get a win. That's the most important thing. You already got to 50. You want to keep stacking wins if you're the New York Knicks, and you want to stay sharp going into the playoffs. You don't want any layoff. You don't want any slippage. This team's been playing pretty good basketball of late, and you want to keep that bar raised to be playing well going into the playoffs.
All right, so with the Knicks missing the rotation players of Hart, Robinson, and also Anunoby, here's your starting 5 with Deuce in there, going to start. He's back, of course, been playing pretty well since he came back from the groin injury, and Achiuwa will get the start. Cade Cunningham, we're going to talk about him a lot tonight. This is his second game back after missing a handful of games with a bad calf. So obviously with McBride starting and the Knicks shorthanded, Knicks need some production from Deuce tonight.
Yeah, he's going to have to look to score. He plays very well off Jalen Brunson. I think he's the perfect complement to Jalen Brunson because you can't double team Jalen because he can knock down shots. The question is, can he handle starters' size? He's going up against Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr., who have good size at the guard position, although Tim Hardaway Jr. is not doing much posting up, so that's not going to be a problem. I anticipate Deuce will be ready. He's always ready when his number's called in the starting lineup.
If you had to name the most surprising team in the NBA, probably the Detroit Pistons. They won only 14 games last year. They're a lock for a playoff spot, and they've taken 2 of 3 from the Knicks this year. Let's take you through the 3 previous meetings. The Knicks won the first one, but Detroit, Wally, has won the last 2.
Detroit's been outstanding. They've really put things together. J.B. Bickerstaff got let go by the Cleveland Cavaliers, took over here in Detroit, and boy, has he found a home. This first meeting, though, Detroit had not found their way. Knicks were up 32-13 in the first quarter. They continued to go up 62-32. There's OG Anunoby with the dunk. This was one of the special early season performances where you could really see what the Knicks were going to be capable of with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. The ball was moving. Shots were falling. Look at the Pistons' heads just down. They got smoked in that first meeting early on in the season. Second meeting, though, no Karl-Anthony Towns. And you could see the Pistons felt like they could beat the Knicks in the world's most famous arena. They came out on fire in this game, really hit the Knicks first. They got off to a lead, 45-33. Cade Cunningham, a monster triple-double, 29, 15 assists, and 10 boards. The Knicks made it a little bit of a game. They took the lead, 89-87, but then down the stretch, the Pistons responded with a 12-2 run. That guy, Malik Beasley, lit it up at the Garden, both meetings, a total of 13 threes by Malik Beasley. That's the most by an opponent ever in 2 road games at MSG in a season. And then here's the third meeting. Karl-Anthony Towns back in the lineup, knocks down the shot. This was a close game all the way through, pretty much back and forth. Fourth quarter, though, can't leave that guy open. Just can't. He made 7 threes in the prior game before, 6 threes in this one, and there's the dagger, back-to-back corner threes. Malik Beasley cannot get any space tonight against the Knicks. You have to stay locked into him because he is an absolute flamethrower.
All right, Wally. Caesars Sportsbook presents tonight's advanced stats. You see the NBA ranks this season for each team. You see the Pistons there. They play fast, second in fast break points, and in the top 10 as well in pace. Here's Tom Thibodeau pregame on the possibility of this being a preview of a first-round playoff matchup.
It doesn't change your approach or anything. It's just, you go through the finish line. It's the next game. Prepare like you would do for every game. Don't change anything, and understand what goes into winning. And anytime someone's out, it's an opportunity for someone else to step in, understand what your job is, go in there and do your job.
All right, so the Knicks come in, obviously, great game against the Celtics the other night. They were healthy. They have really struggled against Boston all year. What do you take away from that game and the performance of Karl-Anthony Towns, who was huge with 34 points and 14 rebounds?
He was really good. The key to Karl-Anthony Towns is he has to stay aggressive on that offensive end of the floor, has to make Boston struggle to guard him especially when they put Jason Tatum on him. That's disrespect, and Karl-Anthony Towns abused a smaller defender in Tatum. Now Porzingis got off from the three-point line, so the Knicks are going to have to figure that out. But down the stretch of the game, it was great to see Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, everyone clicking back out there on the floor. It was a really fun game that the Knicks let go. They were up 3, and Jason Tatum is known to make those step-back big shots. I know Tom Thibodeau normally likes to foul when he's up 3, but for some reason he couldn't get that message to his guys, and they tied up the game. But boy, was Towns aggressive. He did not let his defenders off the hook. Put him in the cage, on the block, in the paint. Just really played physically. Really unbelievable game by Karl-Anthony Towns, just abusing smaller guys, and that's what teams are going to try to do. They're going to make Karl-Anthony Towns move his feet and work on the defensive end of the floor. And if they're going to play small and make Towns chase people outside at the three-point line, then Towns has to make them pay in the paint. Just go right at him around the basket, because nobody can stop him with his size and his strength.
One thing fans have to be happy about, and the Knicks have to be happy about, Jalen Brunson looks 100%. He was great against the Celtics, 27 points and 10 assists. There seems to be no lingering issues at all from that ankle injury.
No, and he took a lot of time to get right. He went through his whole entire routine. Jalen Brunson has, an off-the-court regimen to prepare himself, unlike any player I've ever seen. He's so diligent working with his dad. That's how he's become such a great player in his career over the years. And he came out in this game aggressive. I love the way he looked to shoot that 3-ball. He got 12 threes up. If you want to beat the Celtics, you've got to be aggressive from the three-point line, because they shoot a bunch of threes. Down the stretch, he did not shy away from the big shots either. He put the Knicks in complete position to win this basketball game, up 3 with under 20 seconds to go. Big-time pull-ups. The big thing with an ankle is those pull-ups. Can you get your balance? Can you get that stop and pop, the quick jump, the quick explosion, and the quick balance? And he showed that he has it. That means he's been working for a long time, and that means that ankle's pretty solidly healed.
All right, so it's the Knicks and the Pistons coming up. Alan Hahn is in Detroit. He's on the game call. We will get his pregame perspective when Wally and I come back right after this. Stay with us, everybody. Alan Hahn's going to be on the game call tonight. He now joins us from Detroit. Alan, great to see you. So the Knicks are shorthanded. However, this still could be a first-round playoff preview. So what's the importance to tonight's game?
The first importance is health, is getting through the game healthy. That's this late in the season when you're a team locked into at worst a top 4 finish, so you're going to get home court advantage in the first round. You want to be healthy. I don't know if there's any message sending. You don't have 2 starters out here. You don't have Mitchell Robinson as well. So it's not like you can really preview some things of what you could do against them or what they're going to do against you. What I'm curious to see if there's any message sending from Detroit. Now, remember, they've won the last 2 games against the Knicks, although we haven't seen them since January. And you wonder if they just send them maybe a little message of physicality. It's what they do. It's what they bring. And there are these, concerns with the Knicks and whether or not they can handle that kind of a game. Maybe Detroit wants to send a message tonight in that way, but I don't know if there's too much you can take out of this when it comes to a playoff matchup.
Alan, Cade Cunningham has had a lot of success against the Knicks this season, especially at the Garden. How do you think the Knicks are going to try to stop him tonight?
Well, again, without OG Anunoby in the lineup, it's another we don't really know, because we've seen OG Anunoby taking on the other team's best player, whether it's a perimeter player, a guard, or even somebody that plays down in the post. He's been that versatile all year. It's why he'll be an all-defensive selection. So, again, how do they stop him? Well, it'll probably be, of course, Mikal Bridges. It'll be a cast of characters in this matchup tonight. But you're right, Wally. He has been special. He's been special all year, really. He's an all-star for the first time. His last 4 games at Madison Square Garden, if you want something to watch when it comes to a playoff, the last 4 games he played at the Garden, going back to last season, he's averaging 32 points a game. He's had 30 points or more in 3 of those 4 games. So he doesn't mind the big lights at Madison Square Garden. And for a matchup for the Knicks, it's not an easy one.
Detroit has 2 young, physical big men. Not the most skilled, though, Jalen Duren and Stewart. What do you think they're going to do tonight, and how do you think the Knicks combat them when they're a little bit thin in the front line?
Yeah, well, and that's why I brought up the physicality part of it and whether or not the Pistons, if there's any message to be sent, if there's anything for them to say about the Knicks or to the Knicks, that would be it. Set some hard screens, box out, rebound, dominate the glass. We know Isaiah Stewart, a guy from Rochester, New York. He grew up a Knicks fan. He loves playing against the Knicks. He certainly doesn't mind mixing it up as well. They've had that reputation there in the past. So just one thing to watch tonight, I would probably watch how hard those screens are and what they do on the boards.
Okay, Alan, how about your key to the game tonight?
Well, the key to the game to me is roll call. This is going to be an opportunity, as we've seen with the injuries the Knicks had recently, for players who don't normally get a lot of minutes or any minutes at all to get into this game and show, hey, if you need me in the postseason, I'm ready to go. This is what I can look like against a team like this.
All right, Alan, thanks so much. As always, enjoy the game. We'll look forward to watching you and listening to you with Kenny Albert coming up.
You got it, boys.
All right, that's Alan's key. Wally, how about your key to the game?
Stop Cade Cunningham. He has torched the Knicks all season long at a triple-double in one of the meetings. Alan mentioned how he's going for 30-plus. Mikal Bridges was brought here to stop guys like this, so he's going to have to do the job on Cade Cunningham, make him uncomfortable, try to deny him the ball. That's the biggest key when you're going up against a star player. If you can keep the ball out of his hands, that's the first line of defense, because once they catch it, they're tough to stop, and he gets a lot of screens, especially in pick and roll.
All right, talking about Cade Cunningham, when we come back, the Wally Wall to break down what makes Cade Cunningham so difficult. Knicks and the Pistons coming up. Also, Ed Harrison, Sanford, and Sean Little on betting strategy. Knicks missing 3 rotation players tonight, so how does that impact the line? We have the details for you when we come back right after this. Back, everyone. Knicks have to stop Cade Cunningham tonight. Closed captioning sponsored by New York Lottery. Back now at the Wally Wall, talking Cade Cunningham. In meeting 2, Cunningham had a triple-double. Meeting 3, Cunningham here in New York went for 36. What makes him so hard to stop? Great size, really reads the defense well, and he's an outstanding decision maker. You have to stop him as a team. Here comes the screen. Freeze it there. Mikal Bridges anticipates the pick. Towns has got to be talking to let him know. And then the rejection is where the Knicks get beaten on this play by Cade Cunningham. You have to make sure when the screen comes, Towns is yelling, screen right, screen right, screen right. You have to make him go that way. You can't let him beat you. That's bad defense. Now he splits Jalen Brunson, who can't get over there to help early enough. And then he's just downhill because Towns was up there expecting the screen to go to the right side. And Mikal Bridges didn't force it over to the right side. Those type of plays can't happen against Cade Cunningham. He's too big. He's too gifted finishing around the basket. You have to always force and shade him to the screen because you know that's where Karl Anthony Towns is, and he can help you on that in that direction. You mentioned his size. When you watch him, remember, he's 6'6". Mm-hmm. How important has that been to his success? Oh, he can see over the defense. He's an outstanding passer, handles the ball really well. Size and length is important at the guard position, and that's what makes him so valuable. Now, here he comes off the screens here. Now, freeze it there. This is good defense. Mikal Bridges really, giving it his all to get around that pick. Cade Cunningham comes off the screen. Karl Anthony Towns is the guy that's in no man's land, and he's the guy that's got to give some help here. It's a lock and trail situation. Bridges doing his job. Now, freeze it there. Another split. You can't get split. This is the second time, just like the last play, when a split happens. Now he's going downhill. Someone's got to help. You're playing a man down. It's like a power play. And he's too big. He's going to finish over Miles McBride all the time because Karl Anthony Towns is way too far up. Towns cannot let him get by him. He has to control him and make sure he doesn't split that pick and roll action when he comes off it. Remember, OG Anunoby out tonight because of sore thumb. We'll see how that impacts the Knicks' chances on slowing down Cade Cunningham. Betting strategy now with Harrison and Sean.
We have a very good matchup to watch of all-star point guards, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Brunson. Now, Cade Cunningham's probably going to be defended by Mikal Bridges primarily, but those two guys are going to determine who wins the basketball game, whoever has the better game of those two. Cade Cunningham has played outstanding against the Knicks. The Knicks really have problems with him in the pick and rolls. They like to play with a lot of pace. They like to play fast. The Knicks have to make him work and send a message because it looks like they're going to play him in the first round of the playoffs. playoffs that it's not going to be as easy as it's been for him in the regular season because he's dominated the Knicks in the regular season.
Are you ready for my stat of the night?
I am ready. What do you got?
Malik Beasley has hit 13 of his last 18 threes against the Knicks.
And he broke the single-season road team record.
He made the 13
in the
back-to-back games at MSG.
Yeah,
right.
6 and 7. That's the most ever in one season in 2 games by an opponent at MSG. He lit the Knicks up. The Knicks cannot leave that guy open. Very useful stat to watch. Let's make sure they play some defense on him tonight.
I'm glad I came up with.
You always have good ones. They're very quick and to the point.
There you go. That's a key. Concise.
Succinct.
That's succinct. There you go. Knicks in Detroit to take on the Pistons. We got the game for you coming up. Enjoy it. It's next right here on MSG.